What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, live and direct. Woo. Let's get to it as I go around Suicide Circle. Let's talk about the beef, the truth behind the MC Shan, Run DMC, Def Jam beef. Now, this is going back in time, and for those who didn't know, here you go. Everybody remember the Shan and LL Cool J beef, but what you didn't understand was that most of this triggered from Def Jam. See, when Shan was in the clubs rocking and doing his thing back in the early 80s, Run DMC with a crew that was basically representing Queens. From St. Hollis, Queens. So they was Christmas in Hollis, but they would represent Hollis. You know, it wasn't just like Queens. You like, people would say I'm representing Jamaica, Queens, or Queens Bridge, or it's like a borough. Hollis dudes were considered to be, you know, they had a style, a certain attitude, like they felt they were better than the people from the south side of Queens. So the legend goes. Like, ain't nobody written that in stone. That's just how the legend is. The legend says this is how it went. So if you're listening to the story, that was the attitude between the two, and they never really meshed well with each other. So when Run DMC was out, a lot of people from Queensbridge or Southside Jamaica, Queens was like, yeah, they like Run DMC, they cool, but they from Hollis. That was kind of the attitude. And Southside Jamaica, Queens is, you know, the bridge. They needed somebody to represent that, and Roxanne Shante was one of the people to really bring that out when the UTFO thing went down, which I will do at a later time. I haven't forgot, I just didn't do it yet. And Marley started coming into, you know, doing his own thing with production. And this is how he built up his collateral and money, by putting out a song, like a parody of another song, so he can make some money, to build up enough to get some interest. And he's like, okay, well, he got studio, he's doing this, he's buying his equipment, he's updating his stuff, and everybody had the Drummulator machine back then. You know, I remember that, because I remember my uncle had one. And that's why you hear the songs, and some of them, they sound like the same song, and you think somebody really stole their track, but it's the Drummulator machine. It was like a light blue machine with all these buttons on there. It had a cymbal sound, it had a clap sound. You hear that. You can hold it down and clap real loud. Or you go hit it one time, it's one clap, and you got the cymbal, ting, snare drum. So people make your own beats. So Drummulator machines. You plug it up into in the back of whatever you got that's going on, and you can make your own tracks. You can make a hip hop track in 30 minutes. So if you hear those sounds on everybody's records, you knew at that time that was normal. You know, so the beat with the sound like that was normal. And Run DMC, and at that time, rap was different. That's because nobody cared about really what the beat was, because rap is anything. That's what made it different than any other genre. When you rap, you are basically, you could rap over a jazz beat, you could rap over a disco beat, you could rap over anything. It's about the words and what you're saying. That's what mattered. You could rap over Anita Baker. You could rap over this. Rap, that's how rap had, it was a John Doe thing. It had no way you can control or say, well, this is rap. Only later on did stuff like, okay, this is a rap beat. This is a hip hop beat. There was no such thing. It didn't exist. That's why people was rapping over old jazz tracks, old hip hop tracks, break beats, breaking records or whatever. This was what it was. It was about the words that was coming out of your mouth. That's what made it cold or ill or who was better performance. So Shan did a set at a show, right? And they was at the Fever. This is back in '85 when they had the Fever out. And Shan was up there, and Shan was with his crew. I think it was with his brother at the time, and Marley Marl. This before he even signed with Cold Chillin and did his thing. Cold Chillin was interested in Shan because they wanted to rival Russell Simmons and Def Jam. They were sick that they were like being the main ones decide who and what was hot in hip hop, and you had to go through them. And their contracts was bogus, and that's what Cold Chillin was trying to get over to them. But really, Cold Chillin was like, look, we gonna get you with the same deal. Russell got a good thing going. We want to get in on it too. So that's what the real situation was. They care less about, oh, Russell's getting over on them. Their whole deal was, how do we get what Russell's got? So anyway, Shan is up there, and then Shan, they was like, anybody want to rock the mic? MC Shan was like, man, give me the mic. So MC Shan did a rhyme that was off his, ended up being on his debut album. Okay, this is not where I turn. Yes, it is where I turn. Forgive me, Florida. Gotta get used to your streets. I'm gonna say, is the tow truck gonna cuss me out? Can't cuss me out for jumping lanes. I'm in a Mercedes. They give me a right to be obnoxious. All right. So anyway, back to the story. Shan busts a rhyme. And Run DMC was in the house, so he busted a shout out to like Run DMC and all of them there. And shout outs to Run DMC. And like they kind of like, like gave him, Run came to give him like, what's up? So he took it as a diss. And next thing you know, he started lacing his tracks. And Venom was all out. That whole first album, he was just letting people have it. But they were getting ready to rock at, they were getting ready to go overseas because they was finna drop Raising Hell. And they just did a show in London. They did a show in England. They were doing shows all over the globe, doing Hit It Run. And what Ron was trying to tell them, when he talked to him, was like, look, man, Ron was so out of his mind, like, man, I ain't been home in like a month, man. We traveling, man. Ain't nobody trying to blow you off, son. Because, they approach you back then. Like, man, we got a problem? I love Run DMC. Run DMC was this and that. So, naturally, Run wanted to, Shan wanted to get some understanding. But Shan's first album, he's talking about people who can't really rock the mic and talking about Run and all that stuff. And like, man, Run he ain't even cold. Like, Run don't even rhyme like that. D write the lyrics, and Run, he just say a bunch of nonsense. So, Run DMC, this was all during the Raising Hell, like, why Raising Hell is like shadowing Shan's debut album, when this comes out. Because that situation blew over. But it wasn't the last time. So while they were doing this, it was a big, like, F you to Shan's album. Because Raising Hell became globally the biggest rap album of its time. And so Shan is like somebody screaming off the block compared to like Run DMC. So he was like, man, I can't diss Run DMC now. So, like, I can't even battle them. Like, what could I say to this? Like, their success is monumental. And even people in the bridge is bumping it. So Shan album is doing good because he got the bridge on there. Because he wanted people to know where they from. So he talking about the bridge. Like, yeah, this is the bridge. You know, so what happened was when he dropped the bridge, he ended up going into a KRS-One situation when his beef was with Cool J, because when he didn't sign with Def Jam, they went and got LL Cool J, who was basically what he felt a knockoff brand of him. And was like, dude, this dude is a knockoff brand of me. Like, this dude just been studying me, following me in my shows. He ain't me. So, so it was funny because LL Cool J and Shan knew each other, and then they did a show together. Like, it was no love lost there, but Run DMC heard that Shan been running his mouth in Queensbridge. So when they did the show back home at the Gardens, and Run did I just want to say this right now. You know, I beg your pardon, this is my motherfucking garden. Hollers! Man, he was screaming, Hollers Queens runs and owns the garden. So I'm begging your pardon, this is my motherfucking garden. And he was letting people know who've been going around spreading that Shan stuff that, like, we hear what's going on in the streets, even though we've been gone. And we don't think like we just too big. They was filming movies and doing stuff. Like, we'll get back and let them know what's what. So when Run DMC did all that, when they came out, How You Do It D and all this, they were changing their style because everybody they was on tour with, their styles is changed now. Cold Chillin was growing. And Def Jam was like, man, they got all these new cats with lyrical content and spitting all this. So when they came out with Toughen The Leather, they got Run DMC trying to be like Eric B. and Rakim on some of the tracks. It's like, whoa, that sounds like Eric B. and Rakim now. But DMC is writing all the lyrics, so it's tough. And How You Do It, D, and all this, like, Shan never had no problems with D, but D never liked the way Shan was approaching him. You know, he was like, it's kind of a punk move, because D was like, if you bigger than that, you bigger than that. If you big, be big. You know what I'm saying? Stay, like, if you bigger than that, you ain't got to scream it in the streets. The people would know. So when he walked up on D, you know, and they was like, love and love. That's what D was like. Everybody from Hollers had that arms folded, cross look. That was the Hollers thing. Hollers did that first. I've never seen nobody. I seen LL do that, but Hollers been doing it first. They held it down. I was like an international arms folded, stare you down. So when all of this was transpiring and taking place, you know, you hear all these lyrics coming out, you like, whoa. And then Shan's second album came out and he was just lacing people. They was like, oh, he didn't diss KRS-One. He was still focused on LL. LL became like the next biggest star in the world. So he was going after LL and he was like, man, I helped pioneer this. You know, that whole album, 2 albums back to back from Shan was home runs. I don't know what nobody talking about. Both of those records are cold. You better go back and get those 2 albums. I mean, Jada, when he dissed Beans, he used MC Shan beat. So that's why y'all like, man, what's that disco sound and stuff? And that was back when he was all on that space stuff. MC Shan was on that outer space flow. He was the first one to do that. Marley was the first one to make like an intergalactic sound for rap. To be like, yo, my rounds are out of space on the first CD. Man, that's a lot of stuff going on y'all knew nothing about, man. It's cool stuff to know, but go back to listen like to Toughen The Leather album. You'll pick up a lot of it from How You Do It D. Man, and the song before that, it was a single. It's like, I Know How You Like My Style or something like that. I can't really remember it off the top of my head. But the Toughen The Leather album explains it all, man. You'll see the style change on some of the songs. Like they start going into story rhymes. You listen to ragtime, like story raps, and that's not even what they do. But when you got Slick Rick was just coming up, that's why a lot of people thought Slick Rick wrote ragtime for Run DMC. They was like, Slick Rick must have wrote that, because Slick Rick's in the movie Tougher Than Leather. So go ahead, check it out. You'll start this when you listen to Toughen The Leather album. It's just that the more popular songs of the album is on the first side. The second side, people really didn't listen to it. After one song, Tougher Than Leather, they don't really listen to the second side. The second side had some joints on there. They were experimenting with the new style and what was transpiring and what was becoming of rap at that time. So when you listen to songs like Ragtime, This Is How You Do It, D, or like This Is My Style, I Like My Style, or something like that, those songs there, those are, you know, songs. But when you got monsters like Beats to the Rhymes, Mary Mary, Run's House, They Call Us Run DMC, which was another shot at Shan and Chillin and all them. They call us up the bar, they call us at the bar, they call us superstars, they call us Run, D Run, D Run, D Run, DMC. Oh man, I used to love that. They call us on the phone, they call us on the home, they call us up the bar, they call us superstars, they call us Run, D Run. Man, that song used to play. Back then, that's when people used to carry radios. Whoever had the biggest radio was the guy you followed. It was like Radio Raheem. But this is before that movie was out, basically. I don't think that, what was that, Do the Right Thing wasn't even out yet, but that's how it was. So you could walk through the mall with it and everything. He was blasting it. Corey had that radio. Walking down the block, he had a monster radio. Man, all them speakers. But his batteries kept going out, and he kept trying to put them in the freezer to keep them cold. Then he had another pack in the freezer. Like, yeah, get some more extra juice out of them. You keep them cold in the freezer. People had batteries and stuff in there. D batteries, putting them in there. D. So put them in there. Next thing you know, here you go again. Songs blasting. But yeah, that's the one you keep in the vault. But the cold Chillin battle with them, with Run DMC and all of them, it was more like they pushing to like be the youth and the new generation coming up. And Def Jam is like, hey, don't forget, we started this. We Def Jam. But they had too many soldiers in the tank, and they was coming up. They had Eric B. and Rakim. You got Big Daddy Kane. You got the Biz. You got these guys that's really street. And then they did a good job of making those guys look mainstream, like Run DMC, Cool J, all they mainstream. We giving you the real. And when you say stuff like that, now you done put yourself in a whole new plateau. Now you on a plateau where the people in the streets like, oh yeah, he ain't what's happening no more. They was happening. And then you got people like Public Enemy coming in with soldiers and stomping in the streets. Shoot. Security of the first world, the F1Ws, baby. Come on. It was a whole new movement in hip hop. And Run DMC, I mean, when Public Enemy started coming up, couldn't go against that. You couldn't go against it. It was like, you got to unify or die. So everybody from Cold Chillin, they was like, you know what? It's all for self now. We ain't finna be all sticking with Marley, because Marley was sticking all of them. And once Kane saw like Marley just really getting paid for nothing, he putting his name on most of the stuff, and his guys really promoting it. Everybody, it kind of broke the Juice Crew up and split them all up. So they wasn't even on that Hollis stuff anyway, because most of them weren't even, I mean, from Southside Queens, most of them weren't even from Southside Queens. They was from everywhere. So it was like, look, we ain't even with that, okay? We gonna produce our own records. We'll be on Cold Chillin', but we gonna produce our own thing and do our own thing. And I'm gonna be unified with whoever. If they with Def Jam, they with Def Jam. I don't care. I'm here to make records. And a lot of them fell into that umbrella, and it changed how it was going. And I wish it was like that today, but unfortunately it's not. And you're going to see a lot of record labels going to management. Like I was telling you guys before with the Jay-Z situation, a lot of these record companies is old because it's going to take you so long to recoup the money that you're paying these guys, because you're not going to see a profit from this, because you got to spend money to make it now for the record labels. It's back to that era. It's going to take you so much to push this on YouTube, pay the account, to have her video get 3 million hits or 6 million hits that it's not doing because nobody cares about it. And then you got to promote them and get them on the front page of the magazines. And then here you got to spend money here to get them promoted and get their video pushed on this station. And then you got to go to the records company and tell them to play this record and put some money down on it, give them exclusive interviews to help them out and to help you out and all this craziness. By the time you spend all this money marketing this product, it's not worth it in the end. In the end, you're like, man, I didn't even make nothing. Then their contract is up, they ready to leave, or you got to pay them more money. And you're like, I ain't even made no money. That's the new game. So you got to manage them and do a 360 deal, or you're not going to get any money. That's just the way it is. It's your boy Carcino, I'm out.